Well, we know that kids today are growing up in a very different world, and KOIN 6 is now exploring that in a new 10-episode series called Kids Speak Out Oregon. It's a town hall-style discussion with kids that will delve into their views on homelessness, crime, and other major issues in the community. I sat down with Emmy Award-winning anchor and host of the program, Barbara Harrison, to talk more about what you can expect. So, Barbara, first, let's just kind of start from the beginning. Okay. Tell me about where the idea for Kids Speak Out first came from.
Well, I've done a lot of things with kids over the years in the Washington area where I've anchored the news for many years. And when the pandemic hit, I thought, I wonder what the kids are doing. What are they talking about? And I started making some calls, and kids said they wanted to join in this Zoom conversation I was going to have on a weekly basis. And it became so popular that I had people in other states saying, can my kids get in on this? Since it's Zoom, it would be easy. And so then it expanded. It then became a worldwide thing, and I found that kids were really frustrated. They had things they wanted to say, to complain about. Mm-hmm. And it was also a way for them to meet other people, which they weren't getting to do because they were locked at home. Mm-hmm. So it worked.
You know, it's so interesting. You get into some pretty, what some people might consider, adult conversations with some of these teens. What are some of the topics that you've tackled?
Well, we have quite an expansive list of things that we are talking about with the kids here in Oregon, from refugees, immigration, drugs, school shootings, all kinds of things that are happening in their world. And if you read some of the psychology magazines, you see that kids are really struggling right now with mental health issues. And so we get into that. We ask the kids, what bothers you? What are you worried about? And you would be surprised at the long list of things that are on their minds. And they're happy to be able to talk about it and to express themselves.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that's, the fact is, if you're not having these conversations with your kids, they're still having some of these conversations, right? These topics aren't off the table just because they're not being talked about at home.
That's true.
Why is it so important then to really be fostering these types of conversations?
Well, I think parents do try to talk to their kids. I have children, and I've had conversations with them. They're usually not as forthcoming with me as a parent as they would be, and especially if their peers are sitting there too and involved and jumping in and adding things. And I mean, we are looking at subjects like gender identity. Kids are observing this, whether they are involved in the question or not. They have things that they want to hear from other kids about it that they might not be willing to ask them. So we look at a lot of things that children are thinking about, but we give them a voice and we give them the ears to hear what the others are saying.
Are you surprised by just how much they were willing or they are willing to open up to you?
Well, by this time, I guess I'm not, because I've been doing it a while. I was concerned coming here because I wasn't sure about the kids and whether their parents would be willing to let them come and talk about some of the pretty, spicy things that kids can get into and chat about. But parents were really agreeable. They love the fact that we were doing this, and we find that kids are pretty much the same all over the world. They're thinking about the same things. The things that I didn't have to think about. Your pronouns.
Sure.
Do you know about that?
Sure, I do now, but it is a more recent part of the conversation.
Right.
There are a lot of things that we just did not grow up with.
I hadn't heard that until recently, that kids expect you. You don't just ask them their name and age, you've got to ask them their pronouns too, so you get it right.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people who are not, who are older, think that we might be introducing subjects to kids that they're not already talking about. Well, they're wrong. They're really into things that we are learning about as we grow old with them, as they get older.
Right. One of the things that I'm hoping will come out of this series is not only the opportunity for parents at home to sit and hear from other kids who might be their children's age, what they're thinking, but that it might facilitate some of those conversations at home. Is that your hope?
Exactly.
As well?
That's exactly what we are hoping will happen, and I think it has happened. And parents are listening in. We had some parents who came with their children to apply for this opportunity. And I think that they were all very excited about having their kids talk. And I always tell the kids, we can't have any dead air in television. You've got to keep talking. So if you don't have one person talking, jump in and
no
join
one-word
in.
answers, surly teens.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a fascinating series. I'm so excited for people to get to tackle all of these topics and watch all of these conversations. You mentioned you're a parent. I'm curious, what do your kids think about some of the conversations you're having?
Well, I think that they are happy to hear this, and I'm a grandmother too.
Yeah.
So I've had some of my grandchildren on the shows. We have kids from, well, when I first started it, we had them from 7 years old to 17 and older. And this time we're going to have kids from 11 to 19, I think. Maybe a little bit older than 19 too. And maybe a little bit younger than 7, because we opened the door to anybody who wanted to come and talk to us.
Yeah.
And you'll get to hear those conversations as we do them.
Yeah, well, Barbara, I'm looking forward to hearing all of these conversations. I know folks at home are as well. Thank you so much for coming to Oregon and facilitating this talk.
To meet you and to be here, and what a wonderful town you have.
Well,
Beautiful.
we appreciate that, and looking forward to hearing what a lot of these kids have to say.
Thank you.
And you can tune in to the first episode tomorrow at 7 p.m. on KOIN 6 as kids discuss what they know and what they think about drugs. If you miss it, you can catch it again Sunday at 6:30 p.m. right here on Portland CW.